My Extraterrestrial Encounter by Fedor Flores-Cordova. Copyright 2010. My Extraterrestrial Encounter. My implantation, as I call it, happened in 2 nights. The first night, I went to bed with my ex. She was a Polish woman who I met through in a very extraordinary way. 5 years earlier, as I was sleeping on the 4th floor of an apartment block, as I slept peacefully, I felt that I was being tugged or pulled by my left leg. I woke up thinking that it was probably my brother who lived with me and was using the second smaller bedroom. As I became aware that it was in fact not my brother, but a figure, because I woke up, but a figure much shorter than my brother, suddenly, and with a great awe, I realized that this was not a person but a figure much like that of a child, radiating intense blue light, and his skin was both like opalescent and shimmering translucent glass. As I observed it from head to toe, it was standing at the foot of my bed on my left side. It raised its left arm and pointed towards the opposing wall, and it really began to play of what I assumed was the next day. As I watched the movie, I became aware that it was me talking over the phone to the lady that I was supposed to talk to the next day, and every single word was stuck in my mind till the next day. But somehow I fell asleep again, yet still remembered the dream, which is what I thought it was. All of the words that this lady spoke in this movie were exactly the same as the movie that the being had shown me. I told the lady in the movie I actually played a game with her, and I said every word that she was going to utter before she said them to me, and as well as telling her what had occurred during the night. This obviously made a very large impact on her and asked me to visit her as promptly as possible. She became my girlfriend for 7 years. So back to how I began this story. The first night of my encounters with the implanting greys. In my sleep, I felt a noise and a presence in the house. We were sleeping in the 2nd floor of a house that was directly opposing the Georges River in the southwest of Sydney in Australia, right next to the Holsworth Barracks. So, as I arose to verify that nothing was going on, I realized that the bedroom felt kind of strange. I felt watched, perhaps observed. You know that feeling that you get when you're being watched? Something from the left side of the room, and so I looked at the wall. To my surprise and immense curiosity, the wall began to ripple in an area no bigger than a meter in diameter. This was also accompanied by a gas-like appearance. This did not last more than 2 seconds, as the head of what now I understand to be a grey alien began extruding literally out of the area where the rippling was occurring. It stuck its head out, but stopped short of coming out of the wall completely, and only its head and neck were visible. It stopped moving forward and began slowly moving its head, like scanning the room from left to right. I remember saying to myself, I can't believe they are real. wow, it almost looks like a cat looking for prey. And as I was saying that to myself, its eyes caught my attention. They were perfectly round, curved. They were massive compared to anything I had ever seen. Curved and wrapped around the head. The color of the eyes was reflective black, and the skin of this creature was not grey but a steel coal blue and slightly speckled in appearance. As the eyes moved to look at me, all I was able to look at was the depth of its eyes. For some reason, that was all I remember that night. The next day, all I could say was, what the hell was that? I couldn't believe that they were real, even though I have seen things earlier in my life that I know that now I understand to be totally connected with the phenomena of alien visitation. But still, that time in my life, I had never put two, until that time in my life, I had never put two and two together regarding my extraterrestrial contact as such. I say this because I have memories due to a near-death experience in a river that showed me my entire short life of 7 years, because this NDE happened when I was 7 years old. Sorry. This experience had reminded me of the short hooded creatures that visited me as a 2-year-old in bed. And the year prior to my NDE, where me and my family had a very large orange sphere do an aerial display in front of us at the same location. We experienced the show of flying acrobatics of 20 other smaller silver spheres that came in and out of this large orange UFO. It was right in front of us, no more than 300 meters away from where we camped, and several other sightings in the daytime and night back in my hometown in Santiago, Chile. The next night I arose, virtually thinking that something was wrong, and as I sat up straight, I became immediately entranced and transfixed at the most amazing sight of 4 humanoid creatures standing at the foot of our bed. There was one small 3 foot tall by the side of the bed, and another short one of tan color by my right side, by my side. It was slowly approaching me, and 2 very tall white beings, similar but not as disproportionate as the smaller ones. They had no hair at all, with slanted black eyes, much smaller than the shorter ones, but still a bit bigger than human eyes, and with skin white as paper, and very long spindly limbs. They had 6 extremely long fingers, and as I was digesting this incredible vision, my field of sight became narrower, and physically felt that my consciousness was being slowing, as if I was shutting down somehow. As the corners of my vision were becoming more tunnel-like, I was saying to myself, I am not going to give up. I will remember this. I will remember you. I will fix you to my memory. I will recall you and what you look like. I will never forget. As I was saying this in my mind, I forced my eyes to continue looking at the tall white that appeared to be inserting a small cylinder object that literally floated in front of this creature's finger. And as I watched this, I could also see at the edge of my vision that the tan, shorter being was approaching me, until I felt a nudge on the right side of my head, and all went black. Next day, I woke up to look at my foot, and there was 5 needle-like dots in the webbing between my large right big toe. I told my ex what transpired during the night. She said, "Wow, I have heard of these beings, but I have never seen someone show me anything to do with their actual presence." We took photos later and during the day. Following this encounter, I didn't realize that I had been implanted with anything. So I kind of felt special somehow and privileged of having this type of experience. And I did think that maybe I should take x-rays of my right foot, but my doubts and fears stopped me from completely accepting this as a total reality. So if in fact it was real, I didn't wish to factualize it or really verify it. It was scary to tell you the truth, to be honest. So I did in relation to this was to express it through my artistic work, such as images of grays touching a fetus, like a picture that I posted some time ago, and of a grey holding the world in its hand, and many other collages of spacecrafts and things like that. So 8 years passed until I began to use the internet on a daily basis and found websites with UFO content, but it was not until I discovered YouTube that I started looking for videos of UFOs and UFO sightings. That I crossed the video that Dr. Roger Lear had posted where he was extracting allegedly an implant from a lady from exactly the same area of the foot, which I believe was same. So this video changed my mind. This video changed my life completely, to put it mildly. My head was spinning and all manner of ideas and emotions crossed my mind. So I finally I thought, okay, well, I guess there is no way I can continue fooling myself, and I got the x-rays taken, which showed a small rice-sized object at the base of my foot, even though that is not exactly the same spot where I saw the alien directing the object. It's still there. So these x-rays I gave to Daryl Sims more than 2 years ago now for analysis, but I haven't heard from him since. Now for me there is no room for doubt anymore, because many things have already happened and continue happening in my life in regards to the alien phenomena and how it plays out in my life. Since this particular event, I've had other events which I will keep you posted with whilst I post and stories and other things. Anyway, have a good night, and thank you for listening. Thank you.